Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another exciting edition of Transformers Reviews. Tonight, guys, I am really proud to bring you the Powermaster Optimus Prime from the Titans Return series. Now, many of you will know that this mold is actually a remold, excuse me, guys. It's actually a remold of the Ultra Magnus mold from Combiner Wars. Now, one of the first things you'll notice right off the bat is this base mode is new. Well, it doesn't look quite complete, does it? Well, that's because we still got to add a few things to it. One of the things being the weapons. Now, these have remained unchanged in this iteration of the mold. They are still the same weapons that you got with Magnus. So you can just kind of plug them in back here. Okay, so you have these little back cannons that can fire up into the sky. But one of the new iterations on this mold is the cannons. Now, these will basically they have use in every single mode. Plus, you can allow a Titemaster to sit in there. Now, Optimus has two pegs down here by what will become his trailer wheels. So if we just go ahead and plug this one in, you actually have another one. So go ahead and plug that one in, like that. And I want to introduce you guys to the Headmaster. This is Apex. And voila! You've got your fully armored Optimus Prime base. So, you know, as a base mode, it's actually not all too bad. It's halfway decent. I just love the molding of just everything on here. It's really awesome. I mean, they went to a lot of detail. It would have been awesome to get a little bit of maybe a little bit of paint to kind of help bring out some of these elements. But even without those, it's really good. And I love the ramps on this thing. It's really cool. You've got the little ramps that come down here. And true, due to the way this is all set up, they don't really seem functional. But overall, by itself, I really like it. There's one unique feature about this base. It actually connects to Fortress Maximus, as does Blaster's base mode. He also connects. So one of the funny things about it is actually the system that is used to do that. And when I looked at it on Optimus, take a look at this here. You see that at the end of the ramp, it's got this sort of connection system, but basically, when you have two like plugs, it just plugs in there and is held by friction. So I thought, well, what if we could cut out Fortress Maximus altogether? What if you didn't want to have Maximus? Could you actually connect the two of them by themselves and have a somewhat decent sized base mode? Well, guys, allow me to show you that real quickly. So here you are, guys. Here's these two connected themselves. And sorry, it's about to just get out of my shooting area that I have set up here. So, but you can kind of get the idea of what they would look like. You know, Blasters is a little farther forward than this section of the base, but you know, bases don't have to be all parallel and all that sort of funny stuff. But you can see that here is actually the connection. We'll zoom in here. And it's kind of seamless where they meet up. I mean, right here is the edge of Blaster's ramp, and here's obviously Optimus's. And so, you know, the colors match up really well, which is a nice little touch. It actually helps give the illusion that this is more of a what's the word I'm looking for? It actually looks more of a unified structure as opposed to just two robots that were just boom, you know, clicked together. So anyway, I like the overall aesthetic of a combined base. To have this option and not have to have the new Max is actually, it's just awesome. So anyway, sorry, I'm probably geeking out a little bit on that. So anyway, with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at Optimus in his truck and trailer mode. So here he is in vehicle mode with all of his bristling artillery. And I have to say, I like the overall look of this truck. I mean, it's pretty cool. I mean, everything from the cab, how it's sculpted, how it's designed. I love this just huge oversized grille with the bot symbol there. But I love how, and I think the original one in this vehicle mode kind of looked like, it just looks very tactical, looks very, it just looks like it was meant for, you know, combat, this trailer. One kind of cool and additional function of these being used as the guns on the front is you can actually take it and turn it. And if you wanted to, while he was in vehicle mode, you could go ahead and place a Titemaster in there on one side or both sides and then have them manning the guns. So I thought that was a little kind of cool feature that they've really tried hard and adapted use for these Titemasters in so many different ways. And so I thought that was kind of clever too. You can actually have Apex riding around in the cab of Optimus Prime, which is really cool. And so if we look at that, split the cab apart. Now if you notice on the back of the head here, that is where this little part of the Titan Master should plug into and help him stay in there. And some people, I guess, have had trouble with him sticking in the seat and all that stuff. But it looks like we're not going to have that issue. So there he is in the chair. Fold that back. Boom. Now we have Apex either driving or riding around inside Optimus Prime. Now the one cool thing about this enclosed trailer is that you can actually, just like on Magnus, you can actually carry Autobots around. So if we fold down the tailgate here, it's more designed for Combiner War spheres, but even an old 2001 Deluxe will fit in there. Yeah, I love that he retains that functionality. I mean, halfway decent rolling. And one other thing that I did want to do is do a little bit of a comparison. But let's go ahead and see how he stacks up to his Combiner Wars figure. Obviously a lot bigger. The cab's a lot taller, a lot bigger, just the way it was designed. But you know what? I mean, hey, you know, whatever. I mean, I like the fact that he actually has the trailer and that they're giving us this version, so I'm not going to knock it anyway. And while I'm thinking about it, let's just go ahead and compare them with... Now, Sunstreaker here is actually a repaint of a 2001 Deluxe class mold that was called Prowl. So, you can kind of see how he stacks up. I mean, with these guys here, neither one of them are really in scale with him, but a lot of these leaders kind of have that issue. So, but aside from that, I think I actually like his vehicle mode probably about the same as his base mode. They each have their own unique functions. They both look good, and really there's no drawbacks to them. No big glaring issues that I can detect. So anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at Optimus in probably his best mode, Robot. And here we have Powermaster Prime without a head, but we are actually about to remedy that situation. So we take Apex out of here, that he actually looks kind of, you know, Orion Pax, you know, that face. I mean, it just dead ringer for it. Okay, then the helmet comes over, giving us the Optimus Prime we know and love. Look at that. And I just want to kind of comment on the mold here. If we take a look at, I love how the chest is just all that detailing. That is just so cool, and especially the head. I mean, it's hard not to like that. You can see the blue eyes coming through well, and the head. I mean, it's just the overall aesthetic. I just totally am digging this Optimus. Now, there was one issue with Magnus, that Magnus would throw his guns. This arm system is the same setup, but they've added an improvement. Since the top of the trailer now forms the back part of his arms, they've actually put a little plug there in the handle. So whenever the gun goes into the hand, you just plug it in. Oh, look at that. And it stays in place. It's wonderful. And I mean, it's for both guns. So you just put them in there, close up the fingers, voila, you are set. Alright. One of the other improvements they made for Optimus was his legs. Now, if you've seen the Magnus video, his legs had issues blowing apart. They have corrected that issue. And now, because it's more of a full trailer, it wraps completely around his leg, in addition to how they fixed that, which is just amazing. So, you know, you can get a wide variety of poses. Optimus, even though he is such a big chunk, basically, in Robot. So, I mean, that's pretty cool. I mean, his head, I mean, basically can spin 360. If you look up, you're actually just pulling up on the helmet. But nevertheless, he does look cool. He does look like he can still handle himself quite well. And just for a little bit of a size comparison. And here he is with his Combiner War self. You can see he's obviously a lot shorter, but you know, I mean, they're both good versions of Optimus. I like them both. Galvatron. Ha ha ha. Now, here's the issue, guys. Look at the size difference. I mean, Optimus could just beat the snot out of Galvatron with him being so small. Which would make you think that, wouldn't Combiner Wars Optimus be more of a scale match for this Titan's Return Galvatron? Because the one thing that, or the one figure I think that would fit in well with this Optimus would actually be Combiner Wars Megatron. Yeah, he's a little bit taller, but that's just probably because the foot upgrade. Actually, he's about the same height if you leave off the foot upgrades. So, I mean, these two would look good together. Now, one thing that I have heard is that a lot of people wish that Powermaster Prime had red eyes. They said one fix for that is actually using Nucleon, which is weird because that's using Galvatron's head on Prime's body, which doesn't make no sense. But if it's covered by the mask, what does it matter anyway? And while we're here and while we got it going on, let's just take a look. Okay, so here we actually have Nucleon in the battle mask, and if you see, it does give Prime red eyes. Now the downside is this mask was not engineered for this headmaster, so when I put the battle mask over it, it kind of rubs on the face. So I'm okay with the blue eyes from this, and you know, I think probably I'll just go ahead and stick with Apex as the headmaster for this version. So final thoughts on Powermaster Prime. As far as function goes, he's excellent, you know, and I'm talking about in regards to the Titan Masters. You have a lot of versatility. And, you know, just overall aesthetic through all three of his modes, it's fantastic. And I've never had a Powermaster version of a Prime before, so to have this version and for it to actually just be this cool, I really like it, guys. So, anyway, again, this has been Transformer Reviews. We're going to go ahead and go through a whole bunch of reviews that we got coming out, and hopefully you guys will join us for that. And if that is the case, we will see you guys in another review.